Would you describe yourself as fat and sassy,
Yes.
unenergetic, or unhappy with the quality of your life? Does your body feel creaky, bloated, weak, and flabby?
And my knee cracks too.
Do you want to make a change, but just don't know where to begin? Tune in every Friday for tips, tricks, and a plethora of free knowledge on how to make a change. Welcome to The Fence with your hosts, Mitch and Gar. We'll be diving into all kinds of topics to give a leg up to all of you first-time exercisers who might be on the fence to beginning your journey to a happier, healthier, and more fulfilling life. Let's talk about why it's important to have a why. You know, to maintain a fit lifestyle, or to stick to an exercise program or a routine. Garcevon,
100%.
why is it important to have a why?
You have to have a reason for what you are doing, why you are doing this. You know what I'm saying? Everyone has their own reasons. Let's say, what's yours?
Yeah, over my fitness career, it has changed so many times, and it's always changing. Yeah, and that's okay. You know, sometimes at certain points in my life, it was just to look good.
Okay.
At other times, it was to be strong. At other times, it was to have great conditioning because I wanted to keep up with the guys at the kickboxing gym.
All right.
At a certain point, it was to have quality range of movement, mobility. Mobility was like my main focus. So all of those parts were still sort of there, but the main focus, my why, was to be able to move pain-free and effectively. And it'll probably be different next month.
Yeah, for me, I want to be abnormally strong. All right? That's my why. Because I was very weak as a kid. And I guess it's just psychological, just stuck in my head. I'm compensating for my weakness as a kid. Now I'm like going all out.
Sure. I mean, at one point in my life, I think my why was so that I was stronger than the bully at school or the guy on the other basketball team who kicked my butt, the year prior. Sometimes a person's your why.
Oh, yeah. And it's still semi-is. It's like, I remember when I started training, in a half a year, best defense is offense. So I just freaking jump at everyone. I didn't care. I just was swinging everywhere. And after that, no one touched me. They were like, this guy lost his mind.
Well, they say, what did they say? I think it's Jordan Peterson. I saw this clip, and he said, you want to be peaceful, right? But to be peaceful, you have to at least have the capability of violence, of aggression.
100%.
And if the reason you are peaceful is just that you are, non-confrontational, that means that you don't have the ability to be, be dangerous, to be lethal. So you're not peaceful, you're just non-confrontational.
Or harmless.
Harmless. I think that's the exact word he used. Yeah. Harmless. Yep. You're harmless, not peaceful. You have to have the capability of violence to be peaceful. Otherwise, you're harmless.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. There is a lot of danger comes from your ability of communicate. You can make some wild mess with it. You can put someone in their place. But we have plenty of idiots in this world that they will see they're losing it.
I'm looking at one on my screen right over there.
Yeah.
It's you.
Oh. So they're losing the fight verbal, and they're just going to get physical. They don't care. They are losing, but, So that's why
animalistic.
Yeah. And that is why, and you might be very intelligent and you will beat him in the conversation, any discussion, you know what I'm saying? But it's still good to be physically strong because you will encounter a lot of dummies these days like this, and you need to protect yourself.
And those close to you.
Of course.
But on topic, it's super important to have a why, because if you don't have a why, then it's hard to do anything long term. Yeah, to keep going. So longevity wise, you're guaranteed to face some kind of regression, fitness wise or anywhere else in life. But if you keep that why strong, and it's important enough to you, you're able to fight through those low days, those late nights, those early mornings. And, ultimately, consistency is key. And that's cliche as heck. But consistency, show up 5 minutes on that crappiest day of the year, and nothing can stop you.
Yeah. Discipline will always beat the motivation.
Yep. All right. So we talked about our whys. We talked about why it's important to have a why. Let's talk about, for any first-time exercises out there, maybe you're on the fence, right? Maybe you're dipping your toes in the water through one of the cracks in the fence. Maybe you're stuck straddling the fence, one leg on one side, one leg in the other. Maybe you started to work out and you just can't beat some of those eating habits, or you just can't find that consistency because your why isn't strong enough, or you just don't know enough. So let's talk to those people. And what would you say is the best way to develop some sort of consistent behavior, some sort of consistent exercise routine if you're just starting out?
Track your progress before, take pictures, measurements, weight. If you love beer, right? Freaking heck, just move on the light beer. Or if you're drinking like a 4 a day, move down to the 3.
I like where you're going with this.
Improvement.
Small, little itty bitty steps, one piece at a time. They'll just compound and compound and compound. And so, and I find a lot of times too, personally and with clients, but even in my personal life, once you're getting one habit sort of locked in, or at least getting it, right? So say I'm focusing on the exercise part. Yep. And so my goal is to work out 5 times a week. And, the motivation's not there. You don't have that routine. It's not, clicked yet. So just, go for 5, 10 minutes. Do anything, even if it's just your warm-up routine. Okay, so 15 squats, 10 lunges each leg. Let me do some fire hydrants. Let me do some glute bridges. My blood will start flowing. I'll start feeling a little better. And then I'm there. That took me 5-10 minutes. I could stop, or maybe you won't. So I love where you're heading with that. Small, little itty-bitty decisions, one less beer, a lighter version of the beer. That's the way to do it.
I mean, listen, man, if you cut off everything at the same time, you're not going to last long. It's like no one will.
Quick relapse, quick regression. Yeah. Yep. Small baby steps. I love that. I didn't see where you're heading with that, but I like where it ended up. As quick as you can, right? As concise as possible. Looking at it from like a fundamentals standpoint. Say someone only has 3 days a week and to work out, and these workouts, they only have a 30-minute period, 30-minute block. So what's your opinion? Say you, I don't need you to write me a program, but if you had to write a workout for someone that only had 3 days a week, 30 minutes at a time, what fundamental movement patterns would those workouts consist of?
Full body. Just full body. Base. Good old base.
I like that.
Yeah, that's it. Just do base exercises. You're good enough. Or it's good enough.
Okay. I would agree with that wholeheartedly. And feel free to interject if you disagree with this at all. A lot of times, full body, you might think, okay, I have to hit every single muscle group. I like to think of full body as an upper and a lower body focus. And, so say you are that client 3 days a week, 30 minutes at a time. That full body could consist of an upper and a lower, and you could switch what upper and lower that they are. So there's a small focus on maybe a hinge and a pull on Monday, and say you got it Wednesday and Friday, right? So then you have a squat and some kind of push, maybe overhead on Wednesday, and then Friday you have a single leg, some kind of lunge and a chest press. Would you say that
Yes.
would fall into the full body category, Gar.
Yes.
So you don't have to hit
second,
every single muscle group, guys.
Exactly. That's like a second option, because like hormonal wise, it's like after you train 5 days max, I believe, right? Your muscles still
you're
like
saying like what they recommend.
Yeah, it's like
We're
5
talking
days,
specifically strength training, guys, heavy lifting
and
or
then
whatever.
it declines. Your muscle growth. Actually, your muscle growth just declines. It starts going back down.
Or or you can risk injury, right, if you overdo it. Yeah,
So-
and this is great that we're talking about this because it's going to segue us right into our other topics. Yeah, so I'm glad,
because
I'm glad
some
you
of the
agree
clients actually do that. Let's say if I did legs, right, and I know it's ended up being once a week certain body types, not body types, I mean exercises, right?
Movements, yep.
Body parts. So I just pop in like a real quick, like light, slow tempo freaking bench press on that day. So, and it's ended up being 2 days.
This is great because this is going to take us right into. I might even skip over this one part and go into this second part and then come back. Well, we're going to go with ACE, right? Because I was certified through ACE, my first certification, and they have the FITT principle, which FITT is an acronym, and so each letter stands for a word. Okay, and so the F is for frequency. These are ways that you can adjust your programming or your workout to, depending on your goals, depending on how your body's feeling. If you're being overworked or underworked, you need to increase intensity, right? So these are 4 ways that you can, switch up your training program to either break through a plateau, scale back if you're overdoing it, or just generally mix it up to see more gains. And so we got frequency. So how often are you exercising or working out a specific muscle group? Exactly what you were talking about, right? So frequency is one way. Intensity, and that would apply to your rep ranges, your the load chosen, heavier or lighter for higher reps or heavy for lower volume, right? Or time under tension, rest between sets, etc. That's number 2. Number 3 is time. How long your workouts are lasting. Sometimes less is more, guys. Focus on one movement, if you're a little more regular, and just do that for the entire 30, 45 minutes if that's all you got. One movement, learn that movement, that squat, that deadlift, whatever it may be. And finally, 4 is type. Okay, so AKA high volume versus low volume, with heavier weight, yoga versus cycling or kickboxing, right? So switching up those intensities to match what your body needs and is going to help you see the most growth. So that was a perfect segue to what I wanted to talk about. So thank you. And obviously, all these things, are decided. And you have a different certification, which is ISS?
NPTI.
NPTI.
Yeah, it's through the NSCA.
What's their version of that?
NSCA. So, dude, I took that like 12 or 13 years ago.
Sure.
So I actually use mostly, not gonna lie, West Side Barbell style of programming right now.
Okay.
So, and next year project is to take one of their certifications, personal training and athletic certification.
And what's the certification you're working on right now?
Right now is the RP, Renaissance Periodization. They're actually coming up with the new system of schooling, I guess, next year. I actually bought the freaking, what you call that, Kabuki strength.
Kabuki?
Yeah.
Kabuki.
Yeah, he's, what his name? Duffin, I forgot his first name. He is famous in the powerlifting. And dude is a monster and very knowledgeable. So I bought his, he has a Kabuki EDU. So, and
what is it called?
Kabuki EDU.
I thought you said he kabuki'd you.
Anyways.
Sorry.
Yeah, so it's a lot of stuff there, So I be studying heck amount next year.
Gar's brain's going to explode.
Already. I'm barely talking, you see.
So let's talk about what workouts should we be focusing on, right? So how do I say I'm working out? We're going to go with that same example. 3 days a week, 30 minutes at a time. And we want to do some sort of full body split, right? So how can we program this to make it efficient and safe? So I'm going to go into my thoughts on it. We're going to talk about a couple things, and I want all the feedback that you've got. Let's talk about movement patterns, guys. So everybody knows what a bicep curl is. Everybody knows what an overhead press is. Well, maybe not, but you know, and you know what cardio is. And you know what a crunch is. You probably know what a squat is, right? So these are all exercises. But we want to look at it not as a specific exercise. We want to look at it as a movement pattern. Okay. And I like to go by something called, it's an acronym, called DCOPS. DCOPS stands for D, deadlift. That is a hinge pattern movement. We have C, chest press, okay? You could also refer to that as bench press. It is a pushing movement. You could also look at it as a push-up. Okay, so all of these letters in this acronym DCOPS all stand for a movement pattern, which are interchangeable. And I actually have a PDF which I've created, which I will be putting up on the screen as we talk about it later on when I'm editing it in CapCut. All right, so we got D, deadlift, C, chest press. We have O, overhead press. You can do that with a dumbbell, with a barbell. You could do a handstand push-up. It's the same thing. You could do single arm. You could do neutral. You could do wide. You could do whatever you want on a machine. We have, okay, that's O. We have P, pull or pull up. All right, pull up. It's one of the top, I would say, muscle, full body upper pulling muscle exercises that exists. It's not necessarily a place to start, but it's something to work up to, and you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck when you're doing it. But you could also look at it as just, again, the pattern. So pull up or row.
Yes.
That's a pulling movement, working those back muscles and some secondaries, obviously. And finally, we have S. Scar, take a guess what S is.
God damn it, it's hard, but I guess sit downs. Squats.
Ah, good man. You son of a gun. Squats, that's correct. Okay, and now you might be thinking, oh, there's no single leg in there. But, a split squat. A lunge is a single leg squat. Pistol squat. Bulgarian split squat. You name it, forward, side, left, whatever. It's all about the pattern. So you want to look at these 5 movements and work these into that 3-day split, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So which ones pair best and stuff like that, don't get too hung up on that. Though, in a later episode, we will absolutely cover those topics. Which ones work best together? What do we like? But those are the 5 movements that you need to be focusing on to, fill that 3 or whatever your schedule is. That's what you want to base your movements around. Okay, those are, we call those the big 5. Why are the big 5 important, Gar?
Because it's pretty much works everything.
Compound lifts. Okay, compound lifts are it's a movement involving one or more joints. Let's see if I remember this definition.
Yeah, multi-joint exercises.
Multi-joint exercises and multiple planes of movement in multiple muscle groups. So you're getting a ton of bang for your buck.
And that's how you pretty much pull off the 30-minute training right there.
Exactly, because you might think, oh, what about abs?
Shit, man, squats and deadlifts for you. There you go. And even overhead press. Guess what? You have to keep your
and pull-ups.
Core tidy.
Tidy whitey.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gar. Yes, so you're getting lots of core in those movements. You're getting mobility from performing these movements. I'm sure many of you, and of course, Gar, when you do legs, does your heart rate ever get high?
Hell yeah, bro.
Do a bunch of squats, okay, under a little bit of weight or a lot of weight, and tell me your heart rate doesn't go through the roof, guys. You're getting cardio from these compound lifts, so that's why these lifts are so important. The big 5, compound lifts, base your entire workout around these, and then things like your bicep curls, those glamour muscles, bicep curls, crunches, shoulder raises, tricep extensions, whatever, calf raises, quad extensions, you name it, flies.
Let's say like that.
Accessories after the fact. It's icing on the cake.
Yeah. It depends on the level you are. Just do let's say, do 30 squats, body weight. And then just do curls. So what's gonna break your stamina more, curls or that body weight squats.
Curls for the girls.
Yeah, but body weight squats is gonna beat you up.
Yeah.
Even for me, as a warm up. I'm
exactly, guys. So these movement patterns can all be done body weight, by the way, to some extent, There's some variation out there. So,
Yeah.
and in the PDF
Tempo.
that I'll be including, there are, I have a whole list of different variations of all of these. So you can kind of wrap your head around, okay, so like the big 5, DCOPS, and now what are different variations of these that I can use to mix it up, to work a nice variety of different muscle groups and make sure I'm getting balance in there, right? Stability, core strength, whatever, you know. And then there are some other things that are going to affect this, right? Like, what your goals are going to depend on your rep range. You know, that'll decide what rep ranges you're going. How often you're repeating the exercises, which variations you're doing. If you have any limiting, you know, past injuries or other limitations, that'll just help decide and narrow down which of these you're going to be choosing. If you have a broken back and a rod in it, you know, you might be doing different variations. Or, you know, Gar, give me some input. I've been blabbing.
Oh yeah, about the spine injury. Here you go. I'm sure Bulgarian split squats is the ways to go. Walking lunges, regular split squats. That's fantastic. Probably deadlift is out of the picture with that. Maybe sumo. We can work with the sumo more.
Yeah. I mean, that's a very specific injury. Yeah. I do work with a client with a broken back, but she's actually paralyzed, so we don't do much lower body. We work on core and trying to activate some of those muscles. But obviously in something like that, in a case like that, we'd want to talk to, you know, their doctor, physical therapist, see what they have to say.
I mean, listen, man, if client will tell me that they had to pass certain like injuries and this and that, I mostly always ask for doctor notes.
Yep, 100%.
You always.
Client safety is first. And if you want to be able to keep helping people, you need to be able to stay in business. And if you're not taking care of yourself and crossing your I's and dotting your T's, you won't be. Mobility versus flexibility, Gar. What are your thoughts? What's your hot take?
It depends what you mean, but let's say like that, I never stretch before training. Absolutely.
This is good. Yeah. Go with this. Go ahead.
Because you actually become more injury prone. Depends on your training, you become more injury prone if you stretch before training.
So what do you do instead of stretching before your workout?
Dynamic warm up.
And so what does that look like?
So let's say like that, if I have a squat day, I'm gonna do I call it good girl, bad girls. The
cat cow
abductors.
Oh,
Hip abductors.
okay.
I just go good girl, bad girl.
I love that.
And I tell every client of mine, go do a good girl, bad girl.
I love that. That's hilarious. I'm gonna use that. You know, one of my clients, you know, glute bridge is like a hip thrust.
Yeah.
I use that in my dynamic warm ups with my clients and myself. And one of my clients, one time they called it. They could never remember the name of it. So he referred to it this one time as this, and then it stuck. And this is how I would remind him what it was. And he called it the glute bridge. You're lying on your back and you're thrusting your hips up into the air, sort of like humping the air, right? And he called it the old man pervs. And so now we call them old man pervs. But yeah, so give me an example or two of a dynamic warm up versus a static stretch.
Okay, so
2 examples
let's
of each.
say with one of my female, I have like one client that wanna actually pursue more like a powerlifting, and let's say I still have to open her back. You know what I'm saying? So I do 4 exercises, like giant sit, pretty much. Let's say we will start with the face pulls. Then we will go into the...
I'm just demonstrating. I'm your...
Yeah, we will start with the face pulls. Yeah, then we will go to the walking lunges. Walking lunges is a fantastic exercise. It's like if you will do enough, and I make sure that she does like till almost a burnout, when it burns pretty good. Hips, knees, quads, everything, like everything getting more... nice and cozy, warmed up. So then we will do some rows. I barely do like a pull downs. I mostly go with the rows, and or variation of the rows, and then squat jumps. this 4 exercise.
Okay. I like it.
And then you're ready to squat. Start.
Yeah, I usually do squats, 15, lunges, 10 each side, fire hydrants, 15 each side, bird dog, 15 each side, glute bridge, and then if there's any, that's usually pretty basic, and I'll adjust it or add or take away from it according to if the client is tight or something in a specific area, needs a little extra focus on something, opening up those hips or whatever it may be, loosening up the hamstrings. Yeah, but that's you just want something that gets the whole body moving and flowing, heart rate up a tiny bit, get that blood flowing. So mobility versus flexibility. It's always good to start with mobility. With a dynamic warm-up, okay, because you're not wasting strength. Once you get into that static stretch position, you're actually losing power output because you're stretching that, the muscle. And you are at more risk of injury. So save your static for after your lift. It still is important. But so a good example of mobility versus flexibility. Mobility is dynamic and active. Flexibility is passive. Okay, so flexibility would be my ability to take my thumb and pull it back, which obviously I can't. Take my thumb, assist it, and pull it back to touch my wrist. That would be flexibility. Okay, that's passive. Mobility would be me being able to do that without the assistance of my hand. So you tell me, Gar, which one sounds more important? Which one sounds more useful and practical?
Mobility.
Mobility is king.
For a strength sport, 100%.
Mobility is king.
And for the haters, though, I do yoga. So just saying.
He's a yogi.
Just started though, but anyways.
Yoga's great. It is. It's great. It's so good. Last topic of the day. It's okay. We'll be back next week. Garsavan. Murkertichan. Good luck spelling that, guys.
Yeah, no one can steal my... no, you know what? Forget it.
We'll cut that out. Garsavan M. What is the number one reason in your experience that you have seen a client fall off or fall out of training, lose their consistency, maybe stop training with you altogether or just stop working out in general? What is it number one or at top two if you really can't narrow it down? Take your time. Think about that. We can edit the pause. I want you to think about that.
So, actually, one of the clients, she moved to the Florida. Other one, family. I had a few clients that I kicked them out myself.
Now, was this because you had to make an executive call and it was planned, or you had to make an executive call because they weren't a great fit anymore, or was it something else?
So one of them doesn't follow anything, okay? And at the end, he wasn't paying. His parents was paying.
Oh, I remember this story.
Yes. So it's like he make it look like, okay, you have to be grateful that I'm even coming here. I was like, what? Thank you very much, but I'm not that desperate for money, all right? Have a good day. Pretty much. And don't get me wrong, at the end of the day, he said himself, I think I will continue my fitness journey by myself. I'm glad he said that because that's what I was going to say anyways, like, okay, bye, this is the last time. But, yeah, it's like, listen, man, when I'm training you, right, there is a reason for that. I want you to improve. I'm not doing this just for money. There is a certain reason for this profession, okay? I bet there are plenty of trainers that care about cash only, but it's not me. Okay, I want you to improve. So that's like a second payment for me, all right? Freaking love when people improve.
Well, let's just say that I believe in my core that the trainers that lose sight of why they started and are in it for only or mainly the money won't have a very long career in personal training because, sure, we need to make a living as a personal trainer, but ultimately We're doing it to make a difference, make a change. And I'll tell you what, it's a lot more enjoyable and fulfilling for me to show up week in and week out to a client that's excited, that is doing the work on their own time, that is genuinely there to get better and be better, than for me to show up to someone who just won't do what I tell them, won't do what I ask, won't step up to the challenges I try to create, and as you know, as a personal trainer, ultimately in the end, you always have to kind of take accountability if you can't get through to that client, that person.
True.
So it's a giant game to try to figure out what you can do or say to try to make it click in somebody's brain that, you know, they need to do this, you know, and to help them find and maintain their why. I think the number one reason for me seeing people fall off or out, if it's my client, is because I dropped the ball. I didn't read the signs. I didn't help them find or maintain or recreate their why.
Yeah.
In the end, it's always your fault as a trainer, or at least you have to take all of the accountability. I mean, that's what it comes down to. You need to have fortitude, right? You need to see the signs. You need to make sure that client is staying motivated. And when they're not motivated, you need to remind them of that why. And if that why is no longer true, like I've had clients that started because they wanted to lose weight for a wedding, right? All the time. And I see their whys shift. And eventually, you know, they bought into the system, the DCOPS, the fundamentals, the day in and day out, showing up. They bought into it so hard, and to, you know, tracking the protein, because in increasing water intake and actually increasing calorie intake to lose the weight. And they bought into it so much that the weight loss was no longer a goal, and they wanted to just keep seeing how, you know, they lost the weight as a byproduct of buying in and doing that strength training day in, day out, tracking the calories to an extent, changing a couple of things in their diet, just finding the right ratios. And so their why completely, you know, and that's kind of, and you need, if the person doesn't naturally transition their whys, then you need to help them sometimes, I think. What do you think?
True that, but how much you can do, right?
You can't help someone who doesn't, you know, help themselves, for sure.
Yeah, like...
I'll be darned if I don't feel guilty, you know, or partially responsible for not being able to get through to them. Sure, in the end, there's only so much you can do, but, you know, as a personal trainer, especially as a business owner,
yeah,
I think there's just always something else that could have been done.
Yeah, but you have so much responsibility already, you know, like you have a limited time to invest in them. They have to want, you know what I'm saying, to improve themselves. Like, okay, you failed on a knee, right? I will help you out to get out. But if I have to drag you all the time, listen, I don't think it's productive for you to just waste your money and don't do anything other than just me forcing you to lift, you know? It's like there is a reason why I'm there. There is a reason why I'm being like almost freaking inspirational, talking and stuff like that, and trying to like text you on off time and see how are you doing and this and that, giving you small things to do, like weight yourself 3 times a week. It's not hard. Just weight yourself. Wake up, weight yourself. Put the freaking scale next to your bed. Let's start with this small.
I agree with you wholeheartedly there. But I'm going to give you an example of a time when I was wrong.
Yeah.
One of my biggest failings as a trainer to date, I had a male client reach out, and he needed to lose weight. He was on some medication they needed to come off of, and this guy was ready to work. So I would come in 3 times a week, real late, like 9 p.m., because my schedule was so chock full. So I would come in at like 9 p.m. to this guy, and we would crush it 3 times a week. This guy was motivated. He was consistent. He was just the best, really, the ideal client. And he put in the work when I was with him. He would put in the work decent amount when I wasn't with him. And so this guy saw 30, 40 pounds weight loss, came off of these medications for different things he had going on. His wife saw all this happening. She wanted a piece of the cake. And she needed to lose some weight as well. So then he buys her sessions as a gift. And she starts training a one-on-one with me as well. But the wife never bought in the way that he did.
Yes.
She thought that it was I was a magic potion that would show up and it would just fall off.
Yeah.
She didn't realize how much her husband had been, how much work. Anyway, long story short, after some time of this and us not seeing really any substantial progress consistently, this is frustrating for us as trainers. This is heartbreaking. This is our reputation. This is going against everything, all the success that we've had. Now that success, I'm not able to get through to this person. So now this is a failure on my part, right? And so I had to have this, honest conversation with the client. And I said, hey, look, I don't feel right taking your money. You're not doing what I'm telling you. There comes a time when you need to take accountability as an adult and admit to yourself whether this is something you want to continue doing or if you're ready to double down and reinvest. And I came off too strong. And she essentially thought that I had said, I don't want to work with you anymore. And we had a good relationship, but I think I hurt her a little bit. I could have dealt with it better. And in the end, what I realized was that anything is better than nothing. Any kind of activity is better than nothing. It's still going to improve her quality and longevity of life. It's still going to long-term pay off, and even if it's a small amount, that's a couple more years she gets to spend with her kids. And so now, as far as I know, I maintain a relationship with the husband, but they both stopped training with me eventually. And as far as I know, she never picked anything back up. I would send her recommendations to dance classes and different things, but I screwed up because now, as far as I know, she's not doing anything because I didn't handle it the way I should have.
Question.
Yeah.
Did her weight change at all, body weight?
It would change and then it would go up. It would change.
Go up like back to the old body weight, or how that?
This is at the very beginning, first year in business. So if I remember correctly, she'd lose a couple pounds. We'd see some success, and then they'd go away on vacation, and she'd gain it back, and then she'd come back, and we'd see a little bit of success, and then they had family over for the holidays, and it would come back, and it was just up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And her heart was never in it. She didn't work hard like the husband. And so it was just frustrating to it not fulfilling.
Yeah, I mean, in this case, you could at least say and because it's pretty much true. Because she start training, guess what? Her muscle's gonna grow, and if the body weight remains the same, then that means she actually still lost some body.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
And I guess it's like this is what I've been doing. Like if they listen to me, of course, because a few of my clients are from post-USSR, and our people are, because I'm from there, stubborn as hell. They never,
I can vouch for that.
Yeah. They never like to listen. They shit. So, but when they listen, let's say if you're going on a vacation, right, see relatives and this and that. Like, my suggestion always is like, okay, if you are drinking alcohol or something, at least choose lighter calorie ones. If you are eating certain type of, if you are planning to eat meals at the restaurant and stuff, don't eat bread, choose rice or potatoes. It's very filling. Steak, there's cleaner options.
Just mindfulness. Just a little bit of mindfulness.
That's it. Yeah, and if they listen, they don't gain much back. They come back still top notch, and we continue improving. So it's like, because here's the thing, for the people, your clients might be going on a wedding or vacation. They want to enjoy it. You cannot be like, no, you have to keep it to the freaking diet. Absolutely not. Listen, you want them to be comfortable. Here's the thing. It's if you are a personal trainer, you'd say it like that, right? And even people, just regular people who watch. For a personal trainer, man, they have to feel comfortable with you. You have to be pretty much a friend. You have to understand you are not a robot too. You go on vacations yourself, and I bet you mess shit up too. Drink and everything yourself.
Definitely.
There you go, cha-ching.
It's about balance, guys, and you got to set yourself up for success and your client for success. So plan for relapses, plan for vacations.
Yeah.
Be real with yourself. You want to go enjoy time with your family, and if you have a family and you're going to Disney, chances are it's going to be really hard for you to sneak away for a workout. So, track those steps. Try to sneak away for some workouts. Just make a couple little healthy decisions throughout the week, and that's kind of how you got to live your life. But, enjoy your vacations. I support that.
Yeah.
But be mindful.
Yeah, if you still want to stick. And here is the thing. If I'm writing your diet, right, and you're telling me you want to lose, let's say, 20 pounds, like a nice and healthy 20-20, 20 pounds, let's say, off of body weight, you know, that means body fat, in 3 months, in 12 weeks. I'm going to make sure to ask you, are you going anywhere, any vacations, any weddings, any
Real smart,
business
insightful,
trips?
insightful. Good, he's great.
Yeah. And if you will come up every month with a week something, week and a half something, I will probably suggest you, listen, man, I will give you the tips. Like, just this is my opinion. Like, eat here and there. This is your calories. But I don't think it will be too smart because, again, I want you to get better. But I don't think it will be too smart to pay me so much for you to get in a better shape for maybe in a competition or like just be
or
like a
event.
sharp. Yeah,
Or
you know.
whatever. Yeah.
So let's knock yourself out this 3 months. And after the 3 months, still be mindful. Still be mindful because after 3 months, you will have way more to work. But after 3 months, then let's rock and roll.
That's smart, man. That's great insight. So you can either, downplay, make it relevant to them, brief them why you're asking these questions, and tell them what to most likely expect from your experience and whatnot. And then you could either downplay that goal a little bit. You could, okay, so let's be realistic with ourselves. How bad do you want this? Okay, so if you want that 20 pounds in the 3 months, then you have to do exactly what I say when you go away. If you want to be able to enjoy yourself and be real with yourself, then maybe we should make it 10 pounds or, vice versa.
Yeah.
Or you let them go free on vacay and then just 100% strict when they get back. There's different ways to do it.
I mean, at the end, you have to remember, like a freaking, let's say, sister or brother weddings doesn't happen every time, You want to really, like, write that into your memory.
Yeah.
So that's why here's the thing. If you will stay with your diet, even on a wedding, and God forbid that poor guy, and I'm 100% sure poor guy or girl will break that diet, and they will feel so guilty. So it's better just to get them ready, like a nice and slow, because, guilt not going to take you anywhere. You might just stop completely. They might just stop completely because they will just say like, man, I cannot do shit. And this is the last thing you want.
Well said.
Take it.
Well said. All right, guys. Well, stay up to date on all that we're up to and will be up to. Follow us on IG at _fence or subscribe to our podcast channel at The Fence. These don't actually exist yet. I have to see if these handles are available. As always, it was a pleasure, guys. I'm Mitch, and this is
Gar.
And we are The
Fence.